Call to order the regular meeting for the Ashland Board of Commissioners for Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. We'll start with an invocation, then Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father, as always, we ask your Holy Spirit to preside over our meeting. We thank you for our city and how you've blessed our community in recent days. We ask for your guidance and wisdom on this Board of Mayor and Commissioners as we strive to make the right decisions on behalf of our city and its residents. Bless our city manager and staff, and bless our employees, and bless those in attendance today. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Let us stand and salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Wertz. We have a motion to receive and file the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We have a motion to receive and file the minutes for the regular meeting held on January 26, 2023, and the regular meeting held on February 9th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, hearings and reports. Commissioners, if you will allow me to start today. First off, want to welcome to the table our acting city manager, Mr. Grubb. We've got a lot on the agenda today. I'll try to be brief in my comments, but I do want to start out with some proclamations. This has been a passion project for Commissioner Spriggs, and so with that, I'd like to start out by stating this. Whereas the City of Ashland recognizes the importance of biodiversity in our community and the role of monarch butterflies in maintaining ecological balance, and whereas the City of Ashland is blessed with an abundance of wildflowers along the riverbanks and hillsides of Appalachia, providing critical habitats for monarchs during their migration. And whereas monarch butterflies and other pollinators are still facing precarious situation due to habitat loss, climate change, and other factors which have led to significant decline in their population size. And whereas organizations like the Southern Hills Garden Club has dedicated themselves to the conservation of monarch butterflies by maintaining a butterfly garden in Central Park to bolster monarch reproduction and education. Now, therefore, I, Matthew Perkins, declare March 31st is Monarch Butterfly Day in the city of Ashland, so we'll be able to do that.
Yay!
Be happy about that.
Make some people happy out there.
Got a lot of butterfly supporters.
A lot of butterfly supporters in the audience today. So Commissioner Spriggs, thank you. Thank you for your efforts on that, and thanks to the Southern Hills Garden Club for their efforts. Lots of good news this week. Welcome you all to our meeting. We had a big announcement with the Appalachian Regional Commission announcing that the City of Ashland was chosen for their conference, and we had a great turnout for the press conference, and it's significant for our city to be showcased not only within the 13 states that are participating in the Appalachian Regional Commission, but nationwide. I think it's a symbol of where we're going as a community, and I couldn't be prouder of the city staff. And of course, the most essential part of this is our Visit AKY staff, and led up by Brandy Clark. In fact, Brandy Clark has served as the director of Visit AKY, Ashland's Tourism Bureau, and has demonstrated a tireless commitment to promoting tourism in the city. And whereas Brandy Clark's leadership has resulted in the City of Ashland being selected as the site for numerous conferences and events, including the Appalachian Regional Commission Annual Conference and the Mini SORT Conference. And whereas Brandy Clark has worked tirelessly to bring thousands of events and activities to the City of Ashland, making it a vibrant and exciting destination for visitors and residents alike. And whereas Brandy Clark has served as an ambassador for the City of Ashland, promoting its rich history, culture, and community to people from all over the world. And whereas Brandy Clark's collaborative spirit has brought the community together for the good of all, and her efforts have been instrumental in strengthening Ashland's economy and enhancing its quality of life. Now, therefore, I, Matthew Perkins, along with our commission, do hereby proclaim March 23rd as Brandy Clark Day here in the City of Ashland. Absolutely.
Here, let us all get over here.
Yeah, everybody, you all want to come on down?
Oh, Marty's going down.
Marty, come on down, everybody. Well, you all stand right there.
Stand in place.
Yeah, pastoral support.
Give Randy some rabbit ears.
No, thank you. Thanks a lot.
No, I totally lied to you to get you here. I had to make sure you were here.
Just one more quick note. I was able to see on the riverfront this week that the swings that the commission had appropriated a while back has finally, has been, are being installed as we speak, and just in time for spring, and it seems to be the hit of the community to, you know, something as simple as swings means so much to our people. It's a reminder to me as an elected official that just listening to our people, hearing what they're asking for, and trying to make that happen for them is so critical. So I'm excited for all the families that will be enjoying those swings here to come. So with that, I'll start with our commissioners. Commissioner Goot.
I just want to welcome everyone this afternoon and just say we've been busy along with the ARC big shindig down there. That's a great announcement, but we've had several ribbon cuttings here in the city. And Commissioner Blanton has been at several that I've been at, and we just left one, by the way. We had two ribbon cuttings in the mall, Versona and the Blossom, kind of is a juice bar over there, and we had that yesterday. And then we just left Retro Cuts at 11:30, and I sniped a donut, okay? And I want to make a motion that we put more snacks on this podium right here. There's just a peppermint and water. I mean, I'm getting lightheaded right now. You can't live on this. And
donut.
so anyway, we had that Retro Cuts is where Vern Wells Barber Shop used to be. And then we have another one at 3 o'clock, an aesthetics place that has opened up here on 15th and Central. So a lot of good things happen in our city. Welcome today.
Okay, Commissioner Spriggs.
Hi, everybody. First of all, I want to say how wonderful the Vietnam Veterans Luncheon was last Sunday. And I, again, want to thank the city and all the staff who made that happen. Everybody was so cooperative, and it was quite beautiful and really touching. So I appreciate all of you. Just to comment on the event yesterday, it was so wonderful. And what was so gratifying was to hear so many good things about Ashland. And I love Brandy's use of the word metamorphosis, because she's talking about us coming out of maybe our doldrums or all the work is paying off, but it's wonderful to see Ashland metamorphose into what it's becoming. And we certainly know that Brandy and her staff are such an asset for the city. And we all have seen the work and the marvelous things that we're having downtown due to them. And so I want to personally thank you for looking at my city and seeing the great things going on there. I think that's it.
Okay, Commissioner Blanton.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to say we're thinking about our city manager. We appreciate him and appreciate everybody who's stepping up this week. There's an event that happens every month, and I want to say thank you to the mayor for issuing a proclamation for this group. They're called Wear Blue, Run to Remember. They're a group that organizes in Central Park once a month and they read out names of those who have given their lives in the military. It's just a really great organization. And then after they're done with that, they walk around the park or run or whatever you want to do. But it's a really great organization. So I thank you for doing that. I want to say thanks to our code enforcement group. I always like to highlight groups that one luxury of this job is I can say anything. I have to deal with the repercussions myself of this job, and if people don't like it, then I won't be here next time. So, but not everybody has that luxury, and I appreciate our folks in the code enforcement group. They do their jobs. I mean, we dictate ordinances, and they do their jobs, and they do them very well. So I appreciate you all. Eden McKenzie, you're doing fantastic. I've been noticing a few things. Don't hide your face. Mr. No, we appreciate you. I know we'll hear from you in a little bit. We've got an Easter egg hunt coming up, right? Is that, I wanted to remember that. We'll have to, I know we've put something out online about that as well. That's a great event. ARC, the others have spoke about that. Huge event. Commissioner Clark, I know, much more humble than I am always, but always does work behind the scenes on lots of different things that you never hear about, and I appreciate her. Film festival, I don't know if we mentioned that before, but we've got a film festival coming later this year, so be on the lookout for that, Cosmic Holler Film Festival. The ribbon cuttings have been great the past couple of days. We ran straight from Retro Cuts here. So it's been great to be a part of those ribbon cuttings and appreciate all those business owners. Casa Comedy Night is April 1st, April Fool's Day, which emphasis on fools.
I can't believe you're doing that again.
And the last thing I'll say is it's, we've got a lot of positive things. We seems like we always have good positive things, and we have tough decisions to make sometimes as well, and appreciate everybody who recognizes that, and all of our staff that gives us all the information we need to make those decisions. And a shout out to my wife who has had the grace to deal with me through these last few years, and all she does for our family. I appreciate her. Thanks.
All right, and finally, Commissioner Clark.
Well, I won't belabor all the points, but I am going to bring up the ARC conference one more time because we've lived it for 3 months. We've been in the process to win that conference, and so it was a lot of work, much more work on Visit Ashland's behalf than mine. But it was fantastic to me to have all the conversations that I had on Tuesday with people who are not from here who notice all of the work that's going in. Because what happens when we put in the work is we almost sort of throw out this, we have something to be proud of here. And the more we talk about that and the more we say that and point out the things that we have to be proud of, our citizens can say those things too. And it just builds. And I'm humbled and proud to be part of the process because it's not always been easy.
Yeah.
And it's becoming easier and easier every day, and I'm so glad for it. The only other thing I'm going to say, since, like I said, I lied to Brandy to make sure she was here, and she may have mentioned it in her remarks, but Coffee Week is still going on through Saturday. I have to tell a little bit of a story. All of the ladies in my office, every day at 11:30, leave the office and pick 2 coffee places to visit.
Oh.
And they have looked forward to it for weeks, and they've planned out the whole week, and so they come every day into my office. At 11:30, we're going to go here, we're going to go there, and they have had the absolute best time. I brought them into tourism yesterday just to let Brandy know about this sort of gang that's traveling around every day. I'm not sure where they are. They were going to the bubble tea place today at 11:30. So Coffee Week through the 25th. How many coffee shops? 6, 7. So you still have time to hit all of them between now and Saturday. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. City Manager.
I have no reports at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. We'll be moving on to, I think, our Economic Development team.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Okay, so whenever I took this role, I was doing a lot of research about what exactly economic development is, and it's basically comes down to 3 things that they kind of focus on: business retention, business recruitment, and business expansion. So I had previously learned that if you don't know the answer, then you needed to ask. So that's what I did. I created the 2023 Ashland Business Retention and Expansion Survey. What that was is a small 17-question survey that was sent out to the businesses citywide. So 80% of business growth actually comes from retention and expansion. So yes, new businesses bring a burst of energy and are super exciting, but making sure your current businesses stay in business grow and expand is equally, if not more important. So as a part of retaining and expanding these local businesses, our department conducted a business retention and expansion survey, like I just said, just to get a little more insight on the current businesses' needs and attitudes and kind of how they feel about the community and their outlook towards the future. If you can go on to the next slide. So just a brief little introduction. I just want to highlight that the survey that was conducted, the respondents were 77% either good or above average in the way that they view Ashland as a place to conduct business. So, you always hear the horror stories on Facebook, but this right here goes to show, 77% of our businesses think we're either above average or we're good. So if you could go on. So the purpose of a business retention and expansion survey is to kind of show the businesses, how we are pro-business, how we do want to help them out. And it builds on just communication with them and me. Also identifies different things that we could work on, things that we're doing good, and opportunities that could be there that we don't know of. If you could go to the next one. So from the survey, we could tell that the top 3 kind of industries that responded to the survey were the retail industry, other, which I feel a lot of those were different types of like manufacturing, light, industrial kind of businesses that didn't really have a category to fall into, and then also food service. So those were the top 3 out of the respondents. If you could go to the next one. So like I said in the introduction, as an overall opinion of Ashland to conduct business, it was more than I could have imagined it being. I was very pleased with these results. The above average and the good being 56 and the above average being around 22%, I thought was great, if you would care to go on. But then I wanted to see specifics. So I asked basically satisfied and unsatisfied or neutral on 5 specific areas like the cost of business, the quality of life, workforce, employees, of course, parking and traffic, and local officials. So as you can see, the majority of them were very satisfied in all of the categories that I was a little more interested in learning about. The largest unsatisfied across any category from those that responded was not by any means large, but as you could probably guess, that category would be parking. So if you could go to the next one for me. And so in the action plan that I'll talk about at the end of the presentation, that plan includes training as a tool that could be available for the business community. And so in order to address the needs of the business community, I need to figure out what topics would be of interest and benefit to them, because I don't want to, put all my energy into a topic that they don't really care about or they don't see it being useful for their business. So therefore, I asked a potential workshops topic question. And the 3 main topics of interest were all centered around the internet and social media marketing strategies, and the third being community outreach. I know the Alliance is starting to implement some things like this, so I would love to be able to work with them and create some fun and informative workshops for our local business community to help them grow in areas that they feel they need a little more help with. So that was one question I made sure to ask. If you could go to the... So as you can see, Ashland really is moving in the right direction. And I just want to keep improving, the business-friendly status that we have. I just wanted to include a few quotes directly from the survey, being that Ashland is moving in the right direction and we want to be a part of it. And also the local people are its greatest strength. So they did have areas in the survey that they could give me a more lengthy description of any topics that they would like, and also a comment section. So if you could go to the next one. So the plan of action being, there's a few things that can fall under each category. The first one being continue to follow up with respondents who have requested to be contacted. And that is more so me, but also the commission as well, just stopping in and seeing how things are going. Also review and consider the concerns that were raised. So the unsatisfied category of parking and traffic, things like that. Just see if there are different avenues that we could take to help those businesses. And also, like I stated earlier, follow up with workshop topics and reach out to those who may be of help. So anybody in the expertise of that field that could come in and do a lunch and learn for that business would be very beneficial. So, feeling valued by the community and supported by community leaders, city staff, really does make a large impact on our current businesses. I've noticed firsthand since taking on this role, just stopping in, letting them know who I am, letting them know that I'm here has really gone a long way. And I truly believe in developing personal relationships with these businesses. COVID kind of took away the face-to-face interaction, and I really want to bring that back through my role with the city. And it's just, some of these conversations are really tough conversations, and I've had to have a few of those already. But I pride myself on, creating a welcoming environment and a trusting relationship with these businesses that they can open up to me and tell me, we need help, or we might be closed. We need to do something because we don't want to close. And, that's where I really step in and would love the support from the commission and the city staff as well to provide those resources that we can provide. We just need to have the tough conversations to hear that they're needed. So I always create acronyms. Since I'm a little girl, I used one in my interview with Chris, and also, so I wanted to create one for this. Specifically for myself and also for the commission and community is that we need to take more pride in Ashland. So we need to have a proactive attitude, and then we also need to be a reliable resource for our businesses. But we also need to be innovative in ways that we help each specific business. We need to be dedicated to helping and serving our community. And lastly, we need to empower our small business owners to believe that they can be successful, and me specifically, help connect them with the right resources to make it happen. So overall, this survey has tremendously helped me in seeing things we need to work on, things that we need to applaud ourselves for, and kind of a plan for 2023 to see how we can keep going in the right direction and be more successful than we ever have been. So I plan on conducting these surveys annually, and they are available in paper form, but I also sent them out electronically. I think that is the best way to reach the business community. So therefore, I'm just going to continue to do these at the beginning of each year. And so that, if you all have any questions or any comments.
Well, first off, as a small business owner, thank you. I think it's something that was important to me coming on as a commissioner was making sure that our business community, small or large, knew that they had some advocacy inside the city building, not just elected officials, but they understood the staff was there for them also. And I don't think that necessarily was intentionally set up so that people didn't feel that way. I think it was just getting good communication out. That's why we hired a PIO and other things, including your position, to make sure that there are champions for our small business community in this building every day, working hard, not just the elected body. And this survey is an example of our commitment to getting information back from those folks. And like you said, sometimes it's going to be tough conversations, but it's going to allow us to do better. and we can always do better in what we do. And I appreciate your efforts in reaching out to businesses to try to get them to come to Ashland. I've seen that firsthand. It's what we need people to understand is we are hungry for every business, every job, big, small, doesn't matter. We want people to be here. And your efforts today prove that. Thank you so much.
May I make a comment?
Sure.
I want to commend you for this. I think it's terrific. Also because I'm from the old school, personal contact, putting a face to things, because sometimes, the inflection in your voice doesn't get transferred over in emails and things like that, and this is much more personal, and I think shows a greater interest. Also, just thanks for throwing the city officials in there. So, we got a good rating. So.
She has two people.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I have a comment. Great job. I appreciate all of this information. I just actually have a question, and it's a little bit, just because I want to know, and maybe other people want to know. On the overall opinion of Ashland as a place to conduct business, were there other options beyond average, good, and above average? Like, could they say bad?
Yes, but
Okay.
nobody did. Yeah, nobody
I
did.
wanted to make sure they had that option.
They did.
Kind of good, a little bit good.
Kind of good. They're all right.
Yeah, but-
No, I think this is really, really great information, and I had written the note, and you can't see it, but probably should partner with the Ashland Alliance for their lunch and learns, and so and as you were saying it, so I think that's a great idea as well. We've talked all along about how the collaboration between all of us is very, very important, and the more we get together, the better off we're all going to be. So, all pulling in the same direction.
I
Thank you.
thought the topics were great, too.
Yeah.
I really did. They were very pertinent, and I think would help a lot of people. And I loved it, how to start a small business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in this room who remember not that long ago when we completely educated ourselves about a lot of this stuff. But the first step of any of this is just that face, and that goes such a long way and sometimes you got to just sit there and deal with it, whatever they're saying. But you know what? Sometimes they have to be open to hearing things as well. I know that's not popular probably for me to say, but sometimes, helping them to understand how our plans for downtown are directly tied to helping their business for what we can do. We know the financial part of it and, fees and things like that. That is what it is. We can explain that very easily. The meeting at tourism, and I thought that was lunch and learn with Alliance, that was so good. And, we got, and there was, and that's such a good example in that meeting, there was a perception about a certain fee that we have that literally doesn't exist. And so how you say that is important. How we communicate to them, obviously, is important. But that's, and then the other things, to your point, of looking at more training and things like that, you'll hear promotion items, but, I teach marketing, and what most businesses usually struggle and go under for are things that aren't that glamorous. Inventory. How do you control your inventory? Where do you source your material from? What's the pricing? How do you form those relationships? Because at the end of the day, you got to make money. And you'll find out it's not because you're not out there as much. It's because your inventory costs too much. It's because what you don't sell, you have no outlet for it. And that overwhelms small business owners, and then, they have to go out. So great job. Really love it. That's exactly what we needed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job, Eden.
Thank you all.
We've had 2 moments of applause in our meeting today. I'm going to remember this day forever.
First, isn't it?
We're going to move on to public participation. Anyone with a comment or request may come to the podium and address the commission concerning matters related to city business, services, or personnel. Comments related to election issues or concerning personal disputes will not be allowed. We ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes. Only 1 speaker is permitted per subject. No action will be taken at the meeting. Those with comments are asked to fill out an inquiry form and leave it with the city clerk for distribution to the proper city department. Mrs. Clark.
I prepared it, so I'm going to say it.
Okay.
So our office has been kind of slow this week. Just wanted to come and give an update on what's been happening. As Amanda mentioned, Coffee Week is in full swing. All the participating locations are really buying into the event, and having a good time, and seeing all their photos shared on social media. It's making the business owners happy. It's been exciting to watch. And the web page that we have specifically on our website for Coffee Week has had over 3,000 hits since Coffee Week started. So people are getting into it. And as Josh mentioned, we did announce our Cosmic Holler Film Festival that will take place in October. We will also be having a sci-fi week that will be a week-long event with different things. We've already had a couple of people reach out with some ideas, but that will end with the film festival at the Paramount with an awards ceremony and all the things that go with it. But we've had 5 submissions so far to the film festival. One is from the United Kingdom and one is from Poland. So I think we're an international film festival.
Wow.
Which is really kind of cool. So we're actually having a screening today in our office for our most recent submission. And Erica, do you have the photo? We've been working with Erica and Chief Kelly and Jim for the official cup for the EDC. This is a mock-up of what it could look like. This has been sent out for bid. It'll be a clear cup, so you can see the contents. We've asked for a price for a disposable cup and a recyclable cup, so that way we could, choose which one. And then the restaurants that will be participating will purchase the cups on their own from the one source, so everybody will have the same cup. So that you can scan the QR code, and it'll take you to a page on our website, which will have all the rules, the participating locations, what you can and can't do, and a map of the district where you can walk with your alcohol.
And public restrooms.
Yes.
Yes.
If you see one of those up here, it's just for decoration.
Right, yeah. And then, most importantly, we announced yesterday that we were awarded the opportunity to host the annual conference for the Appalachian Regional Commission. I'm sure I'm going to be crying from here until September when this happens, because I've already heard rumblings that things are happening. People's problems are being addressed, monetarily. So that's exciting already, day 2. So here we go.
You did a great job, by
Thank
the
you.
way.
And I appreciate all of the support that the commission and the city, basically you allowed me to put the whole city on hold for that time period. So whatever you need, it's on hold, just let us know, So thank you very much.
Brandy, the only thing I worry about is somebody's gonna try to steal you away from us. I'm glad you love your hometown, because
Yeah, I
we're
do.
not gonna
I'm
let
not
you
gonna
go.
go anywhere, no.
It's 3.
Three.
I think this is a record. Fond applause. All right. Would anybody else like to come forward at this time? Hearing none, old business?
Item A, and I'm going to read item A, but then I have a staff recommendation on that before.
Okay.
Item A, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of Ashland and Bluegrass Recreation Sales and Installation LLC for the purchase, preparation, and installation of playground equipment and surface at the Central Park in the amount of $172,742.14 for the Department of Community and Economic Development. The recommendation is that we let this die for lack of a motion second at this point and rebid. There was some ambiguity in the bids, and they were close, and there's some concerns about there was ambiguity as to price. There was 2 prices on that particular bid, one of which would have been a winner and one of which would have been a loser. So we think the best thing to do is just.
Where
bid
was
it.
this supposed to be located?
I'm sorry?
Where was this one supposed to be located?
I
I think 3200 Central. 3200 Central. Yes, sir.
So if there's no
With
motion
their-
second, then it'll die.
With uncertainty, I also concur that this would be good to let die then. All right.
Hearing no motion or second, then it dies for lack of the same, and we'll move on to item B. Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of Ashland and Rumpke of Kentucky, Inc. for the removal and disposition of sludge from the City of Ashland wastewater treatment plant and water treatment plant for a period of 1 year in the amount of $330,355.20 for the Department of Utilities.
Move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, consent agenda. We have a resolution of the City of Ashland, Kentucky adopting, authorizing, and approving the course of action presented by the city manager on the items appearing on the consent agenda for the regular meeting of the Board of City Commissioners of March 23rd, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Somebody.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, new business item A. First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance to the City of Ashland, Kentucky Adopting a Classification and Compensation Plan for the City of Ashland, Kentucky," proposed and recommended by Baker Tilly LLP Consultants, increasing the pay for employees making below the minimum rate to the minimum of his or her new grade, granting a 0.5% increase per year of service and positions to all employees, and repealing the salary chart and authorized positions as adopted by ordinance number 51, series of 2017, and previously amended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have some questions. First question, because I've been confused about this from the very beginning. Are police and fire included in this scale?
No, because they're subject to a labor agreement.
Then we have to amend what you're asking us to vote on. Because you're asking us to vote on the scale,
To all employees.
and it has police and fire in here.
Sorry. There's some police and fire positions that are not part of the union labor agreement.
But
and
there
those-
are police officers and fire that are part of contracts in here.
I don't know, let me see.
So, go to, hang on, I'll show you. Go to,
Should just be the title and grade.
I think it's in 8.
It should just be their title and grade.
It's got beside of it the scale.
But that was a list, comes from a list that I asked for specifically.
Their contract.
Yeah, they are.
And so there's a scale next to that, contract person. And it's the same for the police, like police officer
It
is listed in
shouldn't be,
there.
it should just be pay, it should be the grade, should it not?
They have a grade and then they have the pay band.
Okay.
You probably want to ask.
Can you clarify this for me?
Well, here sits,
No.
I understand, I know exactly what they're in this scale, but we're being asked to vote on this scale as it sits. So that concerns me,
yeah.
because they're in the scale.
Yeah.
That we're being
If
asked
they're in
to.
there, if there, is that in the sheet that I gave you or no?
No, it's in
That's in the-
the
in the-
ordinance
in the
that we were
ordinance.
given.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's in the ordinance.
Yeah.
So we've got to pull those out of there.
Yeah, I think you could make a motion to amend, to remove the
Yeah, we
police and
can't-
fire that are subject to the collective bargaining
That's,
agreement.
I just want to make sure we do that
Could we
before
just
we.
say any employee subject to collective bargaining agreement?
Yeah,
Okay, so how do we do this? Do we back out of this one and then make an amended motion to?
Just
amend-
somebody make a motion right now to amend the ordinance in order to remove,
Well, but there's already a motion on the floor, so don't we have to,
well, a motion to amend takes supersedes.
okay,
Okay.
so it's fine,
Make a
it's fine.
motion, we amend the scale.
I second that.
all right.
All right, so
We have to clarify.
you're voting now on the amendment
Yeah.
to
Yes.
remove from the pay
We have a
band.
second, so the discussion is open to the commissioners to specify specifically what this will carry.
So basically, all we're going to do is take out anybody who's covered by a collective bargaining contract from the scale that's in our ordinance.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And that was on the amendment, so now the issue is the ordinance is, originally read, subject to the amendment that passed.
Awesome. Also have some more comments.
We do need to vote on that, correct?
You know, it's open for discussion, though, I think.
We're back to our first motion.
It's been moved and seconded, and now it's open for discussion as amended.
Correct.
I've talked to you guys in some way about this probably for years. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who put this pay and classification scale together, and what it does for our employees is amazing to me.
It is.
I had to get my brain wrapped around exactly how it affected each grade of employee and how you can see, the number of people that we're going to be able to move to this new minimum, and the difference that's gonna make in our employees' lives, to me, is, I'm thrilled to be able to do that. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to do that. I'm glad we're in a place that we can. I'm glad that we are willing to do that and to say to our employees, the bulk of our employees, I think for whatever this is costing us, and Mr. Grubb, do you know the final cost? I think it was,
The total cost is $993K.
okay. So for $993,000, I think 95% of that is going to the lower end of our scale and bringing them up. And I'm just thrilled about that. I had a problem at the very beginning of this with the 0.5% per year of service. And I honestly, you all know how I work. I honestly wanted to come in here today and say, we don't need to do that. And as I got into the numbers and realized why that was important, I'm not gonna say that. It needs to be there. It needs to be there for fairness of people who are in the same position and have years of service above somebody else. And it needs to stay there.
Yeah.
What I noticed when I got into the numbers, though, was sort of a disparity in the top grades and the bottom grades, and I couldn't figure out exactly, where to draw a line in terms of what was equitable. And what I came to was essentially most of the positions above the 12, that competition isn't necessarily there there's not two people in that position. There won't ever be two people in that position. It's directors and managers and supervisors, and so it's not a water treatment operator where there's 6 of them and somebody's gonna be hired in and make more money than somebody that's been there 10 years. I know I'm rambling, I'm sorry. So what I'm gonna ask you guys to consider is, because our mission in this was to sort of cut the gap between the top and the bottom. Commissioner Spriggs and I have tried for years to do that and try to figure a way that was equitable, because by saying to the top people, oh, you make too much money, no, that's not the intention of this. The intention is to sort of cut the gap while also appreciating the experience and the years of service. So what I'd like to do, so that we don't sort of flip this again, and I feel like this pay and classification plan is a clean slate. We finally are getting people to where they're supposed to be and what they need to be. So I'd like for you to consider that above a 12, a grade 12, we cap that 0.5% per year at 3%. To still give those top grades.
So otherwise, it'll creep back till we have a large disparity between that again. So we're back in the same situation.
So that's what I'm asking.
Okay, do you want to make that in the form
I
of
was
a
gonna say,
motion?
more.
I would like to make a motion that we, in this pay and classification plan, we cap the 0.5% per year of service at 3% for any employee above a grade 12.
Do we hear it? Okay, we have a second. Any other discussion on the matter?
I'll just say, this is one that I think, just so citizens know, Commissioner Clark, Commissioner Spriggs have done a lot of work at looking at this. Our staff has done phenomenal work, giving us the information we need. This is great work, and I appreciate looking at, first of all, what's best for our citizens, but also our staff. And, I'm somebody that really tries to speak up for staff anytime I can, because you're the people who are out there doing the jobs, and we appreciate that so much. What I think I've talked about with sanitation in years past, but then looking broadly, we really needed to get this right. And I think that we were getting it right, but then looking a little bit deeper at it about what was really fair across the board. I think this is a fantastic solution to that, and in the end, it's what's right for our citizens.
Yeah, and I just want to say, Commissioner Clark has hit the nail right on the head for years. I mean, back when I was commissioner before, I tried to find a way to do something like this. Until we had the study done, it really was an eye-opener. So, this with our essential workers, getting a more fair pay for the work they do. I mean, I'm talking about streets and sanitation, and nobody's stealing our water plant employees away anymore. So I'm really gratified, first of all, that we can afford to do this, and that to help all of our employees. So, yeah, it's a feel-good thing for us up here, I think.
And just to clarify, when we say Baker Tilly's, just for citizens who may not be aware, we had a study done to kind of look at where we are for all positions relative to, other comparable places. And, obviously, that's not always going to be absolutely perfect, but it gives you an idea of how far we're off, especially for the lower tier positions. And that's an independent source that tells us where we are. And so I think that's an important part of this as well.
So one other thing, when will this pay raise start?
Probably the actual second
Next-
reading
Second reading.
I think the
All right.
ordinance says as soon as
Okay,
we,
let's-
soon as we
All right,
pass it.
that's
for
great.
the adoption.
Okay,
So the amendment has been moved and seconded. I don't think we voted on the second amendment yet.
That's right, we
correct.
haven't.
That's all right. Any other discussion on this matter? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right,
So
we're back to the original
ordinance is twice-
discussion.
Original ordinance is
Yes.
twice
Moving
amended.
parts.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Item B, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and approving change order number 1 between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and O'Rourke Wrecking Company, decreasing the amount of the contract for the demolition of 1401 Winchester Avenue in the amount of $135,165.90 for
So
the
moved.
Department of Engineering.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item C, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and approving change order number 1 between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Thoroughbred Construction Group LLC, increasing the amount of the contract for the water treatment plant roof replacement project in the amount of $39,000 for the Department of Utilities.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Item D, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of Ashland and T2 Systems, Inc. for the purchase of parking enforcement equipment, software, infrastructure support, and payment kiosks for downtown and parking garage parking in the amount of $308,251.50.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Second. Can I make the fourth applause here?
Well,
I'm going to apologize to Eden in advance and say your parking survey will, your survey for parking will take a hit next year when we start enforcement.
Yeah.
The challenge, sorry, is it already a discussion?
yeah, we are at
Yeah.
discussion. Go ahead.
The challenge on this, in my experience, has been relaying to them, because some people get it, they want enforcement, is explaining the benefit that enforcement will give you. Folks in the arcade will get it because they'll tell you about the roosters that are in the spots. That's what they call people who just leave their cars there all day long. This will address that, and that will greatly help the parking issue.
But I also want to mention how critical it is, to Commissioner Clark's point a couple meetings ago, how wayfinding information has to be in place, not only for folks to find out where to park, but we have events coming up that will need direction for folks. And so I hope that we are still working hard in the city building to try to get the wayfinding project going. All right.
Got a thumbs up over there, so
All right,
good.
okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item E, reading and adoption of a municipal order entitled Municipal Order of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing the Ashland Fire Department to submit an application for the People's Bank Grant in the amount of $22,660.08, and if awarded, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute any and all other documents related to said grant.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item F, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to submit an application to the Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet Department for Environmental Protection Division of Waste Management for the 2023-2024 Kentucky Pride Fund Household Hazardous Waste Management Grant for the Department of Public Services, and if awarded, authorizing a 25% match by the City of Ashland, and authorizing and directing the mayor to execute any and all documents relating to said grant.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item G, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, providing for the regulation of gathering, disposing, and destruction of garbage, rubbish, and related waste materials, and fixing fees therefore, establishing the division of solid waste, establishing sewer and water rate tap fees, installation charges, service charges, industrial pretreatment charges, penalties and interest, providing a penalty for the violation of the ordinance, and repealing ordinance number 32, series of 2018, as previously amended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I think at this point, would entertain a motion to recess until tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. There's a couple of items on here that, grant applications that need
Okay.
approval.
Do we have that
before
motion?
the next
So
meeting.
moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are recessed. Thank you all for coming.
Anything beyond?